Where do you think you're going?
He's like, so. Are you? Who's ready? Who's ready? Such a good boy. Oh, bless you. This is a video about my Year in a Day series. I just started it. This is Jeremy, by the way.
Hello.
And this is Zekers. And they're helping me with my next video. I'm doing my Wicca A Year in a Day by Timothy Roderick study. And I got to the second day. And like whenever I get to a certain day, I'm going to like talk about it and like do different videos about it. And I thought this was a really, really good day to have a video about it. So the point, it's day 2 and it's called Those Upsetting Words. And it's basically words that are associated with Wicca and witchcraft that some people might be uncomfortable with saying out loud, or they have certain connotations that society kind of gave to it over time through media and like stuff like that. And so they give you a list of 9 words, and you have to explore the following questions with each word. 1, what is my comfort level in using each word? 2, how do I understand each word? And 3, how do I imagine that each word impacts other people who are not involved in Wicca? And you're crazy. The first word is, of course, Wicca. So let's talk about that word. I don't get uncomfortable when I use that word. I know when someone tells me Wicca, I know what it means because I am Wiccan, so I don't get uncomfortable when I use it. But I do know when I tell people that I belong to Wicca, they get like a little like freaked out because they automatically think witch, cackle, pointy hat, and some emo girl in the back of the classroom that like doesn't have any friends. And I think that's how people associate Wicca when actually it's not like that at all. What do you think?
I really didn't. I've never had a problem, like an uncomfortable factor of using the word Wicca. I didn't really, like, I had the notion of like what it was, but I didn't really know anything about it until I met you.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I guess when I thought of Wicca, I thought of, of witchcraft, but I never thought of it as in a negative or a positive light.
Okay.
It was just kind of there for me. But now that I know you and I've kind of, been more exposed to it, I know exactly what the whole idea behind it is.
Yeah. The next word is witchcraft.
Witchcraft, I think growing up, it was very much like, kind of what you said, the whole, witches, Halloween witches, pointy hat, kind of thing like that. I think it's looked at as it's looked at in a negative, way because of how the media portrays a lot of it sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they automatically, the public or, anybody who hears the word witchcraft kind of all the time directed towards something negative and something as like evil or dark or Satan worshiper kind of thing like that. For me, like, again, and it never was anything that was like, against it. I just didn't understand it. But, I've known people who use the term witchcraft as in, like, for example, like when the Harry Potter series that came out, I remember like when I was reading it, like one of my best friends was like, "Why are you reading that? It's about witchcraft. That's evil." Da, 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 da. So I think that,
yeah, and like even I think witchcraft, like even if it's not portrayed in a negative light, it's being portrayed in an unrealistic light.
Yes.
Because we're not going to wave our wands around and lights are going to flicker and, people are going to levitate. Like, that's not what witchcraft is. And I think because of books, like, in, like, it's not like I have anything against, but, like, fantasy books, like Harry Potter, and, you know, movies like The Craft and stuff like that, because I enjoy them very much so. But I think people need to realize that it's not just that. Like, witchcraft is not just fantasy. It's not something that's unrealistic. It is an actual craft. I definitely do feel a little bit, not uncomfortable telling people that I am a witch and that I practice witchcraft. It depends on who I'm talking to. If I know that they're an open-minded person and know that they're already going to accept it, I don't feel uncomfortable, but I do feel kind of like if I'm meeting someone for the first time, or if I just don't even know someone that well, I am very private about, with that word at least, just because I know what society has made that word, and I know what the media has made that word. So I'm not going to go out and be like, oh, I'm a witch and I practice witchcraft, because they're going to be like, okay. Which it shouldn't be like that. It definitely should not, and I definitely should be proud of it, and I should, you know, but I'm not going to flaunt it either, and that is one of the reasons why, sadly. Okay, the next word is power.
Power for me, like, I think comes across as political. Like, I guess in a different way. Like, not power as in, like, energy power, but, like, power as in, you know, having somebody tell you, like a
what to do.
Yeah, like a
dictator,
basically. I mean, not saying that our president is a dictator in any way, because he's not. He's not a dictator. But like, it's just it's one of those things like having to do with, you know, politics, where I feel that so much of it is
something that you attain.
Yeah,
like not something that you have, but something you attain.
Yeah, and I feel like there's people out there who assume that they have power over us and what we can do and what we can say, and I don't know, it's weird. It's very, yeah.
I think that for some reason I think that what this word has turned into has been kind of like you said, kind of something that you need to earn, something you use to control people, something that is very unattainable.
Yeah. And
I don't think, and I definitely don't think that it is at all. Like, I think everyone has power. We all have a power within us, and whether we choose to use it for good or evil is our choice, but I don't think it's something that we should hang over someone's head at all.
Well, like you said, how everyone has power, but like some try to use it to the advantage of controlling other people or situations, or, you know, different things, you know, and that's like why I said where I feel like it becomes very political, because there's so much going on with, you know, people's rights, and, you know, and like when it comes to like not only gay rights but women's rights, and, you know, it comes to a thing where I don't feel like anyone is higher above than anyone else, you know, as a human being. So I don't feel like, you know, that's how I look at it as power, as people using the word power as a tool to control people.
Okay, the next word is one of my favorite ones that I think is ritual. Because when I first, I don't want to say came out of the closet. Does that word make you uncomfortable?
It's tired.
It's crazy. When I first came out of the closet, I guess, the broom closet, not
my closet,
not his closet. The broom closet. That was the first thing people asked me. I remember my really good friend called me up, and I didn't even really come out. That's the thing. I told a select group of people, and then crazy shit went down, and my mom put it all over Facebook that I was a witch and that I was Wiccan, and then she was telling everybody that I was in a cult and doing all of these crazy things, and then people started calling me up and asking me all these questions. So my mom actually outed me. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
But I mean, I didn't deny it. But I remember my really good friend called up and was like, I heard you're a witch. Do you do, like, what kind of crazy rituals are you doing? Are you sacrificing goats? Like, what crazy rituals are you doing? And I just remember him kept saying, like, do you do rituals? And I thought in my mind, yeah, I do rituals, but not the kind of rituals you're talking about. Because I think when people think of the word ritual, they think of, like, some, like, people in all black and, like, their hoods up and chanting and wearing, like, scary masks, and there's, like, a person tied up on a table and they have, like, a knife and they're, like, gonna kill them. Like, do you know what I mean? Or, like, some crazy sex act is going on. When they hear about, like, when they hear ritual, like, there's a ritual going on, like, they automatically start to think dark energy, and it really isn't. Like, the reason why it's called a ritual is because it's something that we do on, you know, a repetitive, I'm trying to, like, think of a word, but I can't. We do it ritually, like, like, you know, like the ritual that we do for every Sabbat, we do it on every Sabbat. Definitely people have the wrong idea when they hear the word ritual. Like, if I ask somebody to come to a gathering, I don't even want to say gathering. Like, if I asked someone to come with me to celebrate the solstice, they would feel much more comfortable going. But if I said, you want to come to our solstice ritual, they'd be like, what? Like, do I have to, like, what do I have to do in that? Yeah, so I guess that's it with ritual. You got a point. The next word is magic.
Magic, for me, has always been affiliated with fantasy. You know, magic has always been, like, a positive thing in my life, to where, like, you know, as a kid, like, connecting to different fantasy aspects and the magic of that, and, like, you know, just the whole, you know, wishing and, you know, wanting your dreams to come true and all that sort of stuff. So that, for me, has always been it. But, you know, I guess, like, with learning of what you do every day and, like, what you know, practice and stuff like that, it's in a way, it's not something like, you know, it's not something where you can, like, wave your hand and something happens, like, but it's, I think with, you know, the Wiccan belief is that it's very much goes off of positive energy, which I think in return is hand in hand with what, like I said, where it's something positive in your life, that, and positive energies that make things happen for you.
Yeah. I'm very torn about this word, because what you were saying is what I would incorporate to another word that's coming up, which is spell. But magic, I mean, clearly growing up, I had the same thing that you did, like fantasy and wizards and, you know, even, like, magicians, like that, like magic tricks, like something, like, clearly that, and I think that's a really good example of, like, a magician, like, what he performs magic, but it's not real. It's, you know, it's always hit, like, he's like pulling something out of his sleeve, but it's not real, it's just an illusion.
Yeah.
And I think people get that into their head when they hear magic, they think it's not real.
Yeah.
It is hard for me to, like, put my finger on what I think magic is, because magic is so subjective, I think. I think that word is very subjective. I think people can put it in many different ways, what they consider magic. I consider magic anything. Like, my views on magic is, you know, if you see a butterfly come out of its, you know, cocoon or whatever and fly away, like, that to me was magic. You know, a little baby laughing going down the street, like, that's magic. Like, just the way that I feel when I see those things, hear those things, like, the happiness that it brings me, like, in, like, the, you know, what goes down, like, deep inside when those things happen, I consider that magic. Does that, you know, just, it's like when someone, like, when people are talking about, like, meeting their love and then they kiss and they're like, it was like magic. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it's the feeling.
It's the feeling that you get inside, or, you know, like the rain coming. It's like, it's just, that's magic. Like, I don't know if, like, that's completely crazy.
I don't think that's crazy.
that's what I think of when I think of magic. Is that, like, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people that disagree with me. I'm sure there's a lot of people that, I mean, that's why that they have, like, these words written down, because a lot of people have different views on it.
Yeah.
The next word, I guess we can skip to spell, since we were already talking about it a little bit. So let's just skip over to spell. What do you think of when you think of spell? Spells, spell work, stuff like that.
Throughout your life, when you're exposed to things like, you know, movies and television and books and stuff like that, you think of spell as, you know, as something that automatically makes something happen. Like, you know, by doing this, it'll automatically, like, you know, just a whole, like, turning a person into a frog kind of thing. Like, you know, that, you know, is in my mind a spell. But, you know, I know that in a way it's supposed to be like that, but it's not necessarily like, I don't know, it's not, from what I know at least, by doing a spell for, you know, in your religion is like, well, is to make stuff happen, but it's not like an instant reaction kind of thing. It's something to where it releases energy and makes stuff happen, but it may make stuff happen in a way that you're not expecting it to happen kind of thing. I don't know. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like spell, the word just kind of automatically, my mind goes to, like, fantasy again. Like, goes into, like...
Oh, yeah.
You know...
When I think of spells, even now, when someone says I cast a spell, everything that we had, like, we learned growing up because of what's on TV, like, you know. But I guess now, I had this conversation with my mom because she was talking about, a little bit off topic, she was talking about, because my mom is very Christian, she's a very firm believer in Jesus Christ, and that's awesome. But she was talking about, there's a man on a motorcycle outside. So she was talking about hating people today, and how we were talking about measuring sin, because she's a very, you know, I guess, like, she goes to life group every week, and she was talking about sins and, like, the severity of sins and, you know, repentance and blah, blah, blah. I don't know where I'm going with this, but she was talking about how she was battling with her sin of hating someone right now, because she considers that, you know, a really big sin, like, to hate someone, to, like, dislike someone so much that they, like, ruin your day.
Yeah.
She was talking about how she wants to, like, she wishes, like, horrible things on him, and, like, she can't pray to, like, something bad to happen to him, because that's, you know,
yeah.
You know, God's not going to answer. In her mind, you know, God's not going to answer that prayer for something bad to happen to somebody. You just have to trust that it'll, you know. And I told her, you know, just make it in a positive way. Like,